It's time. So, are you guys ready for multi-cloud? If you're ready, just give me a yes. Who's ready? Okay. So, I see lots of people right here, but I'm just expecting a louder yes, louder than this. So, actually, I'm expecting people from different countries all over the world. Like, I can see people from Europe, from the UK, from France, from Germany, from Denmark, from the US, from Africa, Middle East. I can see lots of people. Wait, the camera is there, right? Is that the camera? So there are people watching right now on the YouTube Cisco Live or the Cisco U channel. Yeah, you can scan that code and you'll just get there. So for everybody watching right now, are you ready? One more time. Yeah. All right. So welcome to the ENCC multi-cloud connectivity using SD-WAN. Okay, well, it sounds a little bit weird because we're going to be just diving into a certificate, a multi-cloud connectivity, but using some kind of technology that already exists from Cisco, which is SD-WAN, which is good news because this is going to make this certificate very easy. This kind of technology is going to be very easy for you guys if you decide that you want to pursue this knowledge. So my name is Ahmed Moftah. I'm a technical training manager in Cisco USA, and my session number is 2018. And I know that you're wondering, what does it mean? I mean, what's the number for? I've never worried about that number, but for me, that number makes a big difference. And ironically, it has to do something with SD-WAN and multi-cloud. So I'm going to tell you the story behind this number right here. However, this is not the year 2018. This is just the session number. So if we talk about ENCC, exam code 30440, I want to make this session slightly different. So in order to make this session a little bit different, I'm going to need your help. All right. So we are going to help each other in order to make this more interactive. So what I'll do, I'll be asking you guys questions. And based on your answers, based on your answers, yeah, there will be giveaways. So who's excited? Who's ready for those questions? There are going to be some technical questions. There are going to be some easy questions. And I've got those giveaways with me right here. This is my bottle. This is just from me. All right. So I'll have a sip. The giveaways are right here. So there's going to be a flask or a bottle, and there's going to be a Cisco CCIE badge, which is something similar to this right here. And there's going to be this guy right here, the CCIE Enterprise book by Narvik Kusharian. This is a very valuable book. If you're preparing for your CCIE Enterprise, you're preparing for CCNP or even CCNA, this is going to be very valuable. So get ready for those questions. And hey, I'm not testing your knowledge. I'm going to be giving you the answers throughout the slides. So let's see who's going to be attentive. All right. So we're going to be talking about ENCC, that new certificate, and its relationship to SD-WAN. We're also going to be talking about a little bit about cloud computing and what does it have to do with multi-cloud. The terminologies seem a little bit similar, so we need to differentiate between these two. And then we'll dive deeper into Catalyst SD-WAN because there is something very specific related to cloud over there in that product, which is called Cloud on RAM. So here we go. A little bit about the sessions, because our sessions here in Cisco U, they're actually related somehow. And if we're talking about the latest and recent products that we have released, like the ENCC, they're much tightly coupled. So you're standing right here with me, right here. This is my caricature. This is my avatar. And the session number is 2018. But basically, this session relates to other sessions that you can attend later, or maybe some sessions that you have attended yesterday. They're going to make sense to you. So if you've been here yesterday, okay, so my friend Quinn and Karim Skander and Patrick Gargano, right there he is. He's talked about SD-WAN. This is going to be very helpful for you to understand this session, because I'm not going to dive deep into SD-WAN, but I'm going to give you some hints and information. Also, right after me, not right after me, but like today at 5, it's going to be Hank Preston, a distinguished engineer, is going to be talking about how to pass exams in general, not just this class. Then we have my friend here, Andras. He's going to talk about ENNA, and also Patrick one more time tomorrow, right? He's going to talk again about the latest and the new certificates in depth. Okay, so he's going to handle all those new certificates. I'm just focusing on the ENCC. He's going to walk you through some, different other certificates. And we have other friends of mine that are also going to talk about SD-WAN and ENCC. So yeah, this session right here leads you everywhere to all the other sessions. So here we go. Yours truly. My name again is Ahmed Moftah, and to my name I have a bunch of CCIEs. I'm a certification junkie, so if you like to do it, yeah, I encourage everyone to just go for certificates. If you don't like to go for certificate, then that's up to you, but at least just try the ENCC. So what I do for a living, I'm actually officially a training manager, but like what I do mainly, I do 4 different things. I am a technical trainer. I'm a trainer, so I just deliver trainings. That's what I do for a living. I train things related to technologies like SD-WAN, SD-Access, ACI, and different technologies like enterprise data center and security technologies. Also, I'm not a VCD player, but I am a video content developer. So anything that you want to watch, many technologies that you want to watch online, whether you're following the Cisco U YouTube channel, I keep pointing to that QR code right there, because if you just scan it, you can just go to the Cisco U YouTube channel and watch some of my technical videos. And also Patrick is there, and Kareem Skander is also there. He does lots of sessions about different technologies. I'm also a CCSI proctor, so I basically train trainers. So if you want to become a trainer, you're going to have to go through me. And yeah, key points. This is what I do also. I just broadcast some of my videos on the Cisco U YouTube channel, and it has lots of useful technical information. So speaking of the number 2018, if you have like 2 or 3 minutes, I'm going to give you some, I'm going to tell you a story about why this number is actually important. And it's ironic that when they assigned me, this session, they just gave me that random number. For them, it was random. For me, it was special. Why? Because 2018 actually was the year where I decided that I want to pursue something new. And I was working with one of the learning partners, actually. So, yeah, that's me on the Cisco U YouTube channel. So I was working with one of the learning partners, and then my manager comes to me and he was like, there's a new technology that I need you to ramp up on, and it's going to be trending. And you need to get trained in order to be able to teach it. So what was it? He told me there's something called SD-WAN. At that time, I did not know anything about SD-WAN. And he was like, oh, yeah, you have to get the certificate and then go and teach that training next week. I was like, nah, this is kind of impossible. Just learn something and then teach it the right next week. This is not easy. But in my mind, I was like, if I'm not going to take this opportunity, someone else is going to try it, and someone else is going to be, in my place. So why not just catch the train before it's too late? Why does this, what does this have to do with ENCC? Because 2018 was actually the same year. 6 months forward, later on, I got a message from one of the HR recruiters. She was like, do you want to work for Cisco? After I've delivered several SD-WAN trainings. And then you know the answer for that question. The rest is history. Moral of the story. Yeah, I know. You might be wondering, what does this have to do with ENCC? I'm not going to answer this question right now. If you stick around with me for the next 15 to 20 minutes, I'll give you the answer. What's the moral of that silly story that you just told us? Wait just for 20 more minutes. So let's get right into it. Let's get technical. Okay, ENCC and its relationship to SD-WAN. Enterprise Multicloud Connectivity is actually one of 3 new certificates that have been released by Cisco last year, And they're actually, some of them are available for testing and some are about to get, released for the testing or testing itself. So ENCC is just fully ready. You can just go there on Cisco U, try to just, register there and subscribe and then get trained. And you're going to learn about multi-cloud connectivity, how to get connected to the cloud, which is what we are about to discuss right now. There's also another one when it comes to security. So this is SCAST. Okay, it's multi-cloud security. How to secure your connectivity if you want to hit the cloud using different security tools. We're not going to be talking about this today, but hey, tomorrow and day after tomorrow, my friends will be presenting about it. And then the third one right here is the ENNA. All right. This is also about cloud, but it's about monitoring, how to monitor the applications, how to monitor different tools and devices using 1,000 eyes. That's ENNA. These 3 certificates are here, except for this guy. The testing is going to be ready, I think, in May 20th this year. But for SCAST and for ENCC, they are ready. You can just start getting trained and you can just give the test. So, to the point, ENCC, what's in it for us? ENCC is subdivided into 5 major sections where you can see right here, there is the architecture model of cloud connectivity, how to get connected to the cloud using different architecture models. Design, how to design this connectivity. If you want to get connected, so what are the flavors of technologies that you're going to be using in order to get connected? And IPsec or SD-WAN, these are the 2 flavors of connectivity, and then how to monitor and troubleshoot if your connection has any issues. The percentages are here. Yeah. So these are the percentages of those different topics, but from the exam experience, those percentages might vary. If you're trying to give this exam, these numbers are not going to always be the same. It might vary. From a practical experience, your SD-WAN portion in this certificate is around about 50%. So the message here, if you study and learn SD-WAN very well, you're almost halfway through this technology and this certificate. Because if you look at the blueprint right here, this is the exam blueprint of the 5 major sections. Look at this. For example, 15% is architecture model. However, if we look here, look at that. All those blue lines or blue arrows are SD-WAN. And then next, if we talk about design, okay, well, half of the design portion is how to design the cloud connectivity using SD-WAN. Again, and IPsec connectivity, this is, of course, that's IPsec, that's not SD-WAN whatsoever. But hey, we have SD-WAN cloud connectivity with 25%. And then finally, the operation and troubleshooting, another couple of subsections right there that talk about SD-WAN. So the total, after I did the math, actually, the average percentage of SD-WAN is, as I told you, almost around about 50% if you're trying to give that exam. Technically speaking, cloud and multi-cloud. What's the relationship and what does it have to do with this certificate? First of all, I'm going to just define cloud computing really quick because this is really important for everyone to understand what we're dealing with. So according to NIST, the National Institute of Standard and Technologies, it defines cloud computing as, you can read it right over here, which is, I'm going to try to geek out. So this is a ubiquitous model, widely spread model, which is has an on-demand network access to a shared pool of configurable IT resources. What does it mean? Well, what do you have in your data center? What are those different IT resources that you might expect in a data center? For example, you might have applications, operating system, storage, infrastructure, name it, all and every single IT equipment that you might use in order to build up an IT infrastructure. So if you can utilize those infrastructure from a service provider without having to own the infrastructure, you're actually cutting cost. You're renting those services instead of buying it, instead of investing on the IT itself. So, and eventually what's going to happen, like that, You're going to be automating. Your IT infrastructure is going to be resilient, cost saving, security, flexibility. Name it. There are lots of benefits. I'm not going to waste your time with the benefits right over here, but cloud computing has been there for quite some time. So when it comes to the service models, I want to be clear about something which is very important. There is a service model and there is deployment model. People often get confused about these two. A cloud service model, we have three major service models: IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. And it's really about what are the IT resources which are being managed by the service provider, and what are those IT resources that you need to manage by yourself as a customer, right? So when it comes to infrastructure as a service, you're going to be managing almost half the resources, and the service provider is going to be managing the other half. So mainly, what exactly are you going to be managing as a customer? You're going to be managing what's important for you, what's very relevant for your business, which is the operating system, the applications on top of the operating system. But then any hardware, any storage, any networking is managed by the service provider. When it comes to platform as a service, they're going to offer you everything that the infrastructure as a service was there, but on top of it, they're also going to give you the operating system. So you don't have to worry about whether this is Linux or Windows or any other operating system. They'll do it for you. And I think you might have guessed what SaaS is going to be. This is going to be everything that is going to be managed by the provider, where they give you the application and everything on top, like beneath the application. You only have to consume those applications. These are just common terminologies. There's nothing new about it. And I know that you guys already know about this. So, deployment model. How do different customers like to deploy the different cloud services, and how would they get connected to those cloud providers? So we have the public cloud. First of all, if you want to get connected to the public internet, to use specific services from a specific service provider. We also have a private cloud where you might just need to get connected to your own private clouds, and no one's going to be accessing that with you, and your infrastructure is private and everything is just privately secured. That's just for you, but it's very expensive versus the public, because that's going to be running over the internet. And hybrid, if you want to mix between both the worlds, private and public at the same time. And then finally, this guy right here, multi-cloud. Who can tell me what is multi-cloud? Actually, multi-cloud is when you as a customer is trying to get connected. You're trying to get connected to different cloud service providers, more than one. That's the condition. It has to be more than one public cloud service provider in order to avail a specific service, whatever that service is. So if we're talking about Amazon, maybe AWS. If we're talking about Google, maybe it's GCP, Google Cloud Platform, or maybe it's Microsoft Azure. These are different providers, but it has to be more than one. Thank you for the definition. Okay, so speaking of multi-cloud, now that we know the difference between cloud computing and the service model and everything, especially multi-cloud, now we can just dive deeper, and I'll tell you how to get connected to those different CSPs, the cloud service providers that we are talking about. Oh, I named some of them. So I talked about Google, I talked about Microsoft, I talked about Amazon, and they offer you different services. We're not talking here about the services, but we need to focus on how you, as a customer, as an enterprise customer that has offices all over the world, or maybe all over the city or the country, how do you want to get connected to those providers? They're over the internet. This is public. That's one more condition. Like, it has to be a public connectivity. So guess what? IPsec. Easy. Simple. Who's familiar with IPsec? Give me a yeah. IPsec. Yeah. Okay, so we're not talking about IPsec today. We're just going to be talking about something else. We're going to be talking about another resilient model, which is SD-WAN. Yeah, and this is what we're here for today. You can actually use IPsec, no problem, but then SD-WAN is there, which is going to give you more features and more benefits to get you tied and connected to the different cloud service providers. So enlighten me. What is going to be there with SD-WAN that is different than a traditional IPsec? All right, I'm going to tell you, and here we go. SD-WAN Cloud on Ramp. This is the name of this feature on Cisco Catalyst SD-WAN that gives you the ability to get connected to the cloud using SD-WAN, of course. So here we have some different features. The core of SD-WAN is nothing that we are going to be discussing because my friend here, Patrick, has discussed it already yesterday. And then there's going to be another session about it later on. You can also watch my YouTube videos about SD-WAN. But what we're going to talk about right here is these are the different controllers which represent the management plane, the control plane, and the orchestration plane in the SD-WAN world. And these are your WAN edge routers, and your key mission is to get connected to the cloud using those SD-WAN tunnels, which are apparently IPsec, by the way. So here we go. Whether we're getting connected to SaaS applications or whether we're getting connected to multi-cloud applications or multi-cloud service providers, this is our next mission. So these are all the features that the SD-WAN offer you. We're not diving into SD-WAN that deep, but we just need to talk about SaaS and multi-cloud connectivity. All right, so here we go. I'm going to start with SaaS first, and this has a name. It's called Cloud on Ramp for SaaS, Cloud on Ramp for Software as a Service. Well, here you are. You're right over here. This is where you reside, at the branch. This is your SD-WAN WAN edge router, and your mission is to just get connected to one of those applications from Microsoft, for example, Microsoft 365, and maybe you're just trying to use Office or Teams or SharePoint or anything, so how to make sure that you're going to get connected there. We have a bunch of service providers. Maybe you're rich, you have lots of connectivity, and you're also connected, since you have SD-WAN, you're connected to another regional hub using your SD-WAN technology. But we're not talking about this connection here. We're just going to try to get you to the cloud. So what's going to happen? With Cloud on Ramp for SaaS, what makes it interesting and different than just normal IPsec, because that's the main question right here, is there's going to be a bunch of messages, which is going to give you a specific quality to make sure that your connection to the cloud is stable and has better resiliency. And if there is any interruption in that tunnel towards the cloud, there's always going to be a backup way or a backup route for you to get connected to those different applications. So the routers are going to try to get connected. Every single person that just tries to use the internet, first thing that's going to be sent is a DNS request. So that DNS query actually is going to be sent through the router. The router is just going to try to find the nearest DNS server. And after that, when that DNS server has been resolved, continuous HTTP monitoring messages are going to be sent to guarantee that your connection to that specific application through a certain service provider is giving you the best quality metrics. And when I say quality metrics, it means that certain numbers have to be met in order for this path, maybe your first ISP, to keep pushing the traffic. Or maybe if it's not giving good numbers, then the other path is going to start becoming the best path instead. And this is dynamic and automatic. So what's going to happen? Well, here's the game. These metrics, these numbers, we call them the QoE. Yes, QoE, quality of experience scores. Well, the scores are from 1 to 10. The higher, the better. So the HTTP pings are going on back and forth, and the higher, the better. This guy's giving me a 10. Whoa, that's the best route. This guy's giving me an 8. Well, not that good. Suddenly, this guy, ISP2, started giving me a 10. Well, that may be a load balancing. Both of them are 10. Or maybe the other guy just dropped, depending on latency, depending on packet loss, depending on those different factors. The quality of experience is being measured. Okay, fine. So the traffic is actually being pushed. And if at any time the packet is lost or there's higher latency, well, guess what? You know what's going to happen? The other path is going to be chosen. Now, I have a question for you, and this is for the next giveaway. If you wanted to reach your cloud application, and both of these service providers in this diagram are not giving you the good numbers, they're not giving you good QoE scores. So for example, service provider 1 and 2, they're giving you, let's just say, 5s, and then service provider 3 is giving you a 9, which is, if you follow the path, service provider 3 is not directly connected to your branch 1 router. It's connected through the SD-WAN cloud all the way through the hub router until you reach ISP3, and then it goes all the way up. So what do you think is being used along with HTTP pings, which is going to make this router over here determine that ISP3 is better than the first two, in addition to HTTP pings? And those who followed me on YouTube or those who watched the Rev Up to Research SD-WAN Fundamentals course, they might know the answer. And this question is for this book, the CCIE Enterprise book. Who has the answer? Go ahead. Yeah. We have a book winner right here. Yay. So you're going to get that book right after the session. So yeah, thank you for the answer. It's a BFD message or BFD messages which are being sent right here in the SD-WAN tunnel, in addition to the HTTP pings, which is going to contribute in those numbers, since this is actually an SD-WAN tunnel through the gateway. So yeah, that's one way to get connected. And of course, we have the winner right here. And then multi-cloud, the second and last option right here. It's mainly when you need to just get connected to the service provider, the cloud service provider, to avail infrastructure as a service. However, we don't use that terminology anymore in SD-WAN. We have decided that we want to substitute infrastructure as a service as a terminology, just a terminology, with another terminology, which is called cloud on RAN for multi-cloud. But if you can remind me again, what was, and this is for the last giveaway right here, which is the bottle, the thermal bottle. What was infrastructure as a service? Who knows? We've discussed it already. What was infrastructure as a service, which is similar to cloud and RAN for multi-cloud? What is it? Who knows it? What is infrastructure as a service? Yes. These are the words. So if I may just rephrase the question, like, what are you going to be responsible for as a customer, and what is the service provider going to be responsible for? You're going to get your applications, and the provider is going to get you the infrastructure, which is like the storage, the network, the operating system. This is actually the infrastructure as a service. We have a winner right here, and this is your bottle. Yeah, you're going to get it. So that's basically what multi-cloud is all about. So what's going to happen here is, yes, we have several VPNs. I'm not going to dive into like what's a VPN right here, but in SD-WAN, VPN is equal to a VRF. So I have a bunch of VRFs, and a VRF is using a bunch of subnet right here. And let's say that you have an HR, you have a finance department. Every one of them is using a specific VPN with a specific number. And you keep on growing. Your business is growing. You're getting more income, which is good for you. But then you don't want to spend any more money at the data center. You just want to expand your data center elsewhere where you don't have to spend money. So you're going to just call one of those service providers. Hey, man, Microsoft maybe, or AWS, I want to just get connected to the cloud. I don't want to host my HR or maybe finance subnets in the cloud with you guys, and just guarantee that you give me the infrastructure and everything, and I'm going to get connected to the, the VMs that you spin in there that has my private subnets. So that's what SD-WAN Cloud on RAN for multi-cloud is going to guarantee for you, using a central controller, which is called the manager, which is formerly, which was formerly the vManage. Now we have changed the name, so that's the manager. So basically, I had lots of more information that I wanted to share, but we're running out of time. This was just a quick overview of what is SD-WAN and how it helps us with the ENCC. I believe that by next year, we're going to have more folks certified as ENCC if we're talking about the technical geeks. If we are a trainer, then I believe still by next year, when I meet you again, you're going to be teaching, or you might have taught lots of ENCC courses. And if you are a partner or a business owner, we have some partners right here, you might be selling this course because, hey, I'm not just trying to sell the course, not just because I'm Cisco, but yeah, this is a trending technology. That's the key message here. This is the moral of the story that I told you. If you don't catch the train right now, when it's time, when it's the right time, so what's going to happen? You might miss your train, and then you might be a little bit late. So that being said, don't forget, I'm going to be waiting for you on the Cisco U YouTube channel. Every Monday, I release videos for free completely. Scan that code, which are, I discuss about like different technology. I'm going to be discussing ENCC. I've already started discussing ENCC right over there. I talk about SD-WAN, I talk about several things. And if you want to just go for the full course, then log into Cisco U, subscribe there and watch the full course, which is also something that I have fully finished the videos for. And you can watch all those videos for that course. And thank you, Mr. Dan. I'll see you again next year.